Ever feel like you're searching for a specific image online, maybe for inspiration, and you just get buried under tons of, well, digital stuff that isn't quite right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a common frustration, for sure.
Yeah, and today we're kind of digging into that, but specifically from an artist's point of view. We're looking at a French video called How to Turn Off AI.
Right. It's exploring how artists are dealing with this flood of AI images, especially when they need solid reference material for their work.
Exactly. The source is this video highlighting one artist's struggles, particularly with finding references amidst what they call AI slop, I think is the term used, on sites like Pinterest.
Yeah, slop seems about right sometimes. This artist, a sculptor, really ran into trouble.
So our mission here is to understand these challenges AI throws at artists looking for, genuine references, and then talk about the solutions offered in the video.
And the sculptor's story really kicks it off. They had a commission, right, for Jinx and Silco from Arcane.
Yeah, and needed good references. But Pinterest, usually the go-to place.
It became a minefield, basically, just full of AI-generated stuff instead of useful images.
The video even gives this pretty funny but telling example of an AI Jinx with a really messed up tattoo.
Exactly. It shows how AI often just misses the detail, the small things that artists actually need to see and understand.
And it seems this isn't an isolated thing. The video mentions another artist, Sass Arts, who apparently said Pinterest is pretty much dead for artists now because of this AI overload.
Which is a big deal because Pinterest wasn't just like for pretty pictures. It was a tool, right, for finding references, breaking art block.
Yeah, a crucial part of the process for many. And this AI influx is really hitting that hard.
Definitely. The artist in the video argues quite strongly against even using AI images for reference. They have two main reasons.
Okay, what's the first one?
Technical inaccuracy. They claim something like, 95% of AI images are just fundamentally wrong in some way.
Wow, 95%. Like, what's sort of wrong?
Things like, the classic six-fingered hands, weird anatomy, problems rendering details. They mentioned Lego hands specifically. Apparently, AI struggles with those.
Huh, interesting. Okay, so the point is, if your reference image is flawed,
your artwork's going to inherit those flaws. Garbage in, garbage out, basically, but for art foundations.
Makes sense.
Oh.
Okay, what was the second reason?
This one's maybe a bit more philosophical. It's about artistic intent.
Intent? How so?
Well, the idea is that AI is trained on millions of images, all created with different purposes, different messages by human artists.
Right.
But the AI itself doesn't understand or replicate that original intent. It just mashes patterns together. So the generated image lacks, well, the artist called it soul.
So it might look okay at first glance, but it's missing that deeper meaning or purpose that a human artist put in.
Exactly. And that connects back to the Pinterest frustration. You see a thumbnail, looks promising, you click.
And it's just a technically poor, soulless AI image. Yeah, I can see how that would be incredibly frustrating and undermine the platform's value for inspiration.
Definitely. Now, it's important to add, the artist in the video isn't totally dismissing AI forever.
Okay, there's some nuance there.
Yeah, they acknowledge it might have a future, that artists might need to adapt somehow. But right now, for their process, it's an intrusion, especially for finding reliable references.
Okay, so that's the problem laid out. What about solutions? How do artists get around this AI noise?
The video suggests a few things. One is maybe not the most practical method.
Yeah.
Try to create your own references.
Oh, like the sculptor taking photos of their sister in a jacket for Silco's clothes.
Exactly. Resourceful, but, you can't do that for everything. It's pretty limited.
Yeah, not always feasible. What else?
There's a mention of a browser extension for Chrome called Pre-A-Search.
Pre-search, what does it do?
Apparently, it lets you filter search results to only show stuff published before 2023. The idea is to cut out most of the recent AI boom.
Okay. That's clever. Bit of a blunt instrument, maybe, but clever.
Yeah. And then there's the method the artist seemed most enthusiastic about, the one they called goaded, I think.
Goaded. Okay, what's the super method?
It's actually really simple. It's a search query technique. You just add before.yyyy to your search terms.
Oh, like on Google Images or wherever. So you'd search Jinx before.2023.
Exactly like that. The artists found it really improved their workflow, helped them find usable stuff again. They recommended using 2023 as the cutoff year.
Okay, that seems pretty practical. Easy to implement.
For sure, though the video does acknowledge the downside.
Which is?
Well, you're limiting yourself, right? You're cutting out anything genuinely new and good made by humans after that date, too.
True. You might miss out on recent human art or photos.
Yeah. But the argument is, Right now, the signal-to-noise ratio is so bad with AI that this is a valuable workaround, even with that limitation.
A necessary evil for the time being, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. And the artist really wanted to share these tips, help out other artists dealing with the same headache. They asked people to share the video around.
That makes sense, building that community support.
Absolutely. And it does make you think, beyond just art references, what are the wider effects of all this AI content?
Yeah, on creativity, on just finding reliable information online in general. How do we keep human-created stuff valuable and visible?
It's a big question, definitely something for all of us to mull over as this tech keeps evolving.
Absolutely. A lot to think about there. This deep dive was sparked by content from Le Podcast de Philippe.
And if you enjoyed this discussion and want us to keep exploring topics like this, we'd really appreciate your support in helping us reach 1,000 subscribers.
It really helps us keep these conversations going. Thanks for tuning in.